you watching the Beastie Boys? I thought you hated them.
That's cinema, baby.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I'm not supposed to fight with the guests, Mr. Wilson.
I'm not a guest tonight, you yellow bastard. I happen to be an intruder.
Hello, and welcome to The Good, the Pod, and the Ugly, a film podcast where we generally do deep dives on actors, directors, practical effects, etc. We often put them through a temporal pincer movement, trademarked. And this season, which we are wrapping up with these next two films, we are covering the filmography of James Gray.
All 8 films.
I am Ken.
This is Thomas.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are joined for this episode, which is going to cover the first of those two films, Two Lovers, by Andy.
Hello.
That's good to see two lovers in the studio.
Yes,
right.
yes. By the end of this episode, maybe not. There may be some fisticuffs on Mike.
For someone else.
Yes.
Sorry.
And then I think the catch, not much of a catch really, but the catch this season is Thomas and I, prior to the season, had never seen a single James Gray film. And now we have our PhDs. Next week, we'll get the document in James Gray.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Ryan.
Player hater degree.
Yeah, and there may be some discussion of which of us has been gray-pilled and which of us has not.
So, yeah, Two Lovers is 2008. Same year as Pineapple Express that we covered.
Woo.
The Wrestler.
Yeah.
Hurt Locker.
Woo. Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Mm-mm.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Woo. Doubt.
Yeah.
Changeling and Gran Torino.
Wow. A busy
A
year.
lot of films.
Yeah.
Busy year.
And The Dark Knight. So there were some options.
Yeah,
in the theater.
That was a good year. Is it the best year for cinema and cinema history, though?
No.
What? No. Come on.
No. Okay, it was just a
about these
question.
last
Be
two.
serious. Come on.
It was not a provocation. I'm sorry.
So one great thing about these last two is that this is the first time Ryan's seen these as well, I believe.
Mhm.
That's correct. These are the two I hadn't seen previously.
And you had seen the previous 6, right?
Yes, I was surprised along the way to find out exactly how many of his films I had seen, but it turns out it was all of the 6 that we had already covered.
So
Yeah,
we
75%, maybe?
Yeah.
did a temporal pincer movement, which, Ryan, I want you to explain in a second to our listener. But how we ended up with these as the last two films, because they're consecutive films.
Yes, that's correct. And the temporal pincer movement, which we are currently in litigation with Christopher Nolan's over the rights to the very concept and the phrasing.
Mhm.
The temporal pincer movement is when we look at a filmography from the beginning and end, and then work our way in the middle. So we started with James Gray's first film and his last film, and here we are 8 weeks later, or 7 weeks later, at the two middle films of his filmography.
Yeah. That first film was Little Odessa, and his most recent film is Armageddon Time. That's where we started.
And if you are playing along at home, go ahead and get your bingo cards out, because this movie opens in silence,
Mm-hmm.
has New York City Jews,
What?
Chinese food, a good family father has ruined the fortunes, potentially. Wait,
Mhm.
am I in the wrong? No, this is...
Nope.
Hey, okay. I didn't think we were going to get it in this movie, but we got boob
Yeah.
and a club scene,
Uh-huh.
which
Yes.
Joaquin actually said, like, man, I'm doing another club scene with you. James Gray."
He was like, trust me, this one's going to be good.
Well, so in the interview for the book that I had gotten through interlibrary loan of the Monoma County Library,
Shout out.
Shout out.
James Gray by Synecdoche. Yeah, he talked to Joaquin, and this is what Gray said. Originally, we were going to do it in a roller rink, and have him skating around with the girls.
Ooh.
That would have
It
been
would have
great.
been great, but we called around, and there was only one remaining roller rink in the entire tri-state area, which is 30 miles away from New Jersey. Oh, I'm sorry, 30 miles away in New Jersey. So Joaquin was like, all right, I'll do the club scene. So I think I have an idea. And he had seen Harmony Korine doing a pop and lock move and attract some girls in a bar in Toronto. And he said that that's what he wanted to do because he didn't want Leonard to be all nerd all the time, but have a side of him that where he had perhaps been a hip guy back in high school. Wait for it. I had told him, this is Gray saying I had also told him about how I used to record rap records when I was in high school, which he thought was hilarious.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
He's also a musician, lest we forget, Joaquin Phoenix. But I think that was
In
them
quotation
inserting, Gray, a little bit of autobiography for Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Big surprise.
And this is actually, yeah. This is Joaquin's last film before he had his very public maybe meltdown, maybe meta documentary.
Yeah.
And then, he kind of went into semi-retirement for a bit or disappeared for a bit. So this is the movie that broke him.
It's
I can see that.
it's crazy that Joaquin emerged from that period, and Casey Affleck, who directed his quasi-autobiographical film, did not.
Well, he won an Oscar. As an actor.
Yeah, that's true.
Joaquin's won like 2 since, right?
Yeah.
Well, talking about the timing of this is the same year as Iron Man, 5 years after A View from the Top, which is also a great book by Richard Ayoade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 17 years after Hook. And all that's pertinent because it has Gwyneth Paltrow in it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow. Gwyneth Paltrow's in Hook?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, Hook's pretty crazy. Apparently, she and Shaw, the two titular lovers, never met on set. The first time that they actually met ever was at Cannes.
That makes sense. This is, there's also 2 lovers that Gwyneth Paltrow has, because she has Joaquin Phoenix and, oh my god,
Elias Koteas.
Casey Jones from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The great
Really?
Elias Koteas.
Yeah.
I've always loved him as a character
cowabunga.
actor. I was so happy when he showed up.
He's great. He's fantastic.
So I did a little bit of research. I'll just pepper it in throughout the episode. But so people with the love of 2 are called duophiles.
Uh-huh.
People who love the number 13 are tridescaphiles. People who love the number 42 are Douglas Adams files. And people who like the number 69 DM me.
Nice.
Hey, Ryan, do you want to give the plot a shot? You've been very good this season doing the setups for these films.
I will. And I will forego character names because I have a hard time remembering those. So our boy Joaquin is the son of a dry cleaner in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, the same setting as Little Odessa.
Shout out.
At the opening of the film, he jumps off a pier, the same pier that we see in Little Odessa, where Tim Roth and Edward Furlong have a near-frozen hot dog together. Joaquin jumps off of the pier in an attempt to commit suicide. He fails when he is dragged out of the ocean by a local man. A crowd forms around him and makes sure he's revived. He gets embarrassed and runs away. In one of the best moments of the movie, one of the guys who helped save him calls him a douchebag. Because he doesn't thank the person who rehabilitates him. He goes home. We find out he lives with his mother and father. We find out that he had a fiance and was nearly married before that was broken up by the fiance's parents. And then as he struggles to put the pieces of his life back together and not commit suicide, he meets 2 women. Vinessa Shaw is the daughter of a family friend who's also planning on buying Joaquin's family's dry cleaning business, so the 2 families would go into business together and the business would be kind of merged or sealed with a union. At the same time, he meets Gwyneth Paltrow, his crazy neighbor, who is irresistible to Joaquin despite being a total mess, or perhaps because she's a total mess.
Mm-hmm.
And Joaquin spends the movie torn between the responsible choice for a partner in Vinessa Shaw and the irresponsible but love-fueled choice of Gwyneth Paltrow.
Who Gwyneth Paltrow also has a lover.
Yes.
An older man who is married with children, and her apartment is actually being paid for. And that's Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
Yes.
there's a hockey mask lying around her apartment.
Yes. Vinessa Shaw works in the city for a pharmaceutical company, and Gwyneth Paltrow is an executive assistant at a law firm. She works for Elias Koteas, who keeps her as a kept woman in that Brooklyn apartment.
We should say that this is loosely based on Dostoevsky's White Nights, written in 1848. And as a bit of a deep dive, I watched the Russian version from 1960, and then the Visconti version with Marcello Mastroianni from 1957.
Oh, wow.
Supplementary. And I'm fascinated by what Gray took from the basic story and what he added. And the Visconti actually has a dance scene, which conceptually is almost exactly the same as the one in Two Lovers, except it's the dancing is completely different. The music's completely different, but it is also Mastroianni's character, who would be the Joaquin character. I mean, he's watching other people dance, and then he decides to get in on it.
How's his flow in that movie?
It's fucking great, man. He's like hopping around like an ostrich. It's pretty good.
Oh, no, I was talking about his rhymes.
Oh.
Is he freestyle or is he?
No, he does not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are both those movies period pieces set in the 1830s, or are they?
No, the Russian one. The Russian one is very much a classic, almost fairy tale telling of the story. It has the narrator, like from the original story, and then the Italian one doesn't have a narrator, and it's set in contemporary Italy, and has some of the most beautiful set work I have ever seen in a movie. What's that?
And either of them, does somebody receive like a letter or a singing telegram that says "you up"?
Nope, does not.
I'm just saying how closely Gray hewed to the original material.
Well, I think it's interesting that the original material is the main character would be the Joaquin character here is a very lonely man, and then he meets this girl on a bridge, which is interesting. Gray chose to start the film kind of on a bridge, more of a pier, and then she is the one that has the two lovers. She has a lodger that has lived with her and her blind grandma that she has fallen in love with. But as the story goes and they meet night upon night, it turns out he had to leave for a year. I don't know. They never explained. Maybe jail. And that they were going to meet at the bridge in a year's time. Over the course of the story, the main character falls in love with her. That's the crux of it. And it pretty much ends the same way Two Lovers ends, with him finally thinking he's going to get the girl of his dreams, and then the guy finally shows up, and she's like, "Sorry."
Deuces.
Yeah, she tells him she loves him, and she's gonna go away with him, and they're gonna live together. And then the guy just shows up like in silhouette, and then she runs to him. Very devastating. I think Dostoevsky's original story with the triangle is one of the great narrative foundational texts in all of movies and literature.
Well,
so Andy, you sometimes have been known to cohabitate with Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Did you also watch these precursor movies?
No. Well, I got some of one of them, the Italian one, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think you were watching that when I woke up yesterday.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, there's a dance scene, just like Two Lovers."
So, I got to see the dance scene, which was very 50s rockabilly type dancers.
Huh.
But
okay.
And there's a circle, and then Mastroianni gets in the middle of the circle and does some moves, and then everybody kind of moves in, just like in Two Lovers. Definitely an homage, I think. There.
Is the Dostoevsky book focused on a male protagonist, or is it also centered on a woman?
Yes, no, it is. The main character and narrator is the male character, and what Gray does is it's like two lovers times two, because Joaquin has two lovers and Gwyneth Paltrow has two lovers, and I think that's when we get into reactions. I'd like to talk about that a little bit. Is all the stuff Gray adds. Gray adds basically all the Gray bingo stuff that Thomas talked about.
Right.
That by this point in this season feels almost like comfort food to me. It's takeout. They're having a family dinner. Oh, I love it so much. But I was thinking about the love triangle dynamic, and I made a list of some of the movies we've covered on this podcast that have that same dynamic.
Okay, no, I'm ready for this.
Okay, so we didn't cover these, but some of the classics are like Casablanca, Broadcast News, 16 Candles, and then The Graduate, which we covered here. So I'm going to go backwards from pre-James Gray season. Some of them are a bit dodgy, like The Passion. If you think about it, maybe. Mona Lisa, Miller's Crossing, Antichrist, you got to think about that one. Big Country for sure. The Prestige, Tenet, Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, if the drug is part of the triangle. Shampoo with Warren Beatty, Color of Money, the great Paul Newman, Tom Cruise movie. Tough Guys Don't Dance. Magic, The Man Who Shot Liberty. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, which is a total triangle. You got Jimmy Stewart or John Wayne. Who are you going to choose? Yeah. Point Break, if you think that Lori Petty and
the Sways.
Yes. French Lieutenant's Woman, Sophie's Choice, maybe Doubt. It's a stretch. These two are obvious: Manhattan and She-Devil.
Yeah, waiting for it.
Then The Graduate. There's Always, Vampires and Werewolves as forming a triangle. You got Twilight, Blood Simple, Face Off, maybe. Moonstruck. Then you got Adaptation, which has a number of triangles. Bird, if you think of heroin as part of the triangle. White Hunter, Black Heart, if it's Jeff Fahey plays the Joaquin character, and then the other lover is the guide. Every Which Way But Loose. Bridges of Madison County is a huge one, which is very close to the movie we're talking about. Play Misty for Me, Paint Your Wagon, and for our first ever episode, Revenge of the Creature, which Eastwood has a very small part in, but there's the creature who is in love with a lady, and then there's a fellow scientist, whatever he is, who's also in love with a lady. So triangles have a long history in this podcast.
Great job.
Wow.
That's a lot of movies.
That was a long walk down memory lane, but it was worth it for She-Devil.
Yeah.
No, I was right. I wrote down somebody has to choose between a brunette and a blonde.
Yeah.
And one's practical and one is aspirational or flighty.
So here's a question for you all. I want to get into personal details. Have you in your personal lives ever been part of a triangle, either on the outside or the inside or the object of affection?
Human pyramid count?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No?
I was a couple times in high school and once in college.
Thomas?
My counsel advises me not to comment on this question.
So I've been in a couple. Right now it's me, Andy, and John Hamm have kind of a triangle going.
Yeah.
So I'm on the outside looking at that one.
All right. How about a fact?
Yes.
So people who love 90s era alien and supernatural conspiracy television series with that will they won't they tension are X-Files files. While those who love detective shows that start with an answering machine and are starring James Garner are Rockford files. And those who like an ensemble sitcom about six friends navigating life and relationships in New York City are living single files. Friends, rip that shit off. Look it up.
Totally. We did.
So we did not talk about Rick Manello yet. Have we mentioned him?
No.
Oh, wow. One of the craziest rabbit holes of this entire podcast, 6 years worth.
Co-writer Richard Manello.
Of this film and the next film, which is something else they have in common. So I watched like all the music videos he directed or co-directed, including a couple Beastie Boys. You Have to Fight for Your Right to Party.
Shout out.
Sleep Till Brooklyn. He co-directed Mother by Danzig, which mother,
which would later become a film that we've covered on this podcast.
Shout out to our mother episode, right? And then it is one of the craziest stories because Manello was a night watchman at the Weinstein. It's not that Weinstein dorm at NYU when Rick Rubin was a film student. Rick Rubin is the famous record producer.
Co-founder of Def Jam Records.
Yeah. And they would often talk the night away about movies. And Manello had one of the great minds for movie facts, having seemingly seen every single movie ever made and knew a bunch of facts. He's like the ultimate film podcaster. He passed away in 2013. Rubin kind of, got him the co-directing job for the Beastie Boys videos. And he was a guy who wrote, but never really showed it to anybody. He lived with his mother in a cheesequake village in New Jersey.
I'm sorry, what?
Time out.
Cheesequake.
What does that mean?
It's the name.
You're saying these words like they belong together, Ken.
Cheesequake. That's what James Gray keeps saying in this New Yorker article I read, which is astounding. And
if you have lactose intolerance, is that what happens?
That's what happens. Yeah.
Cheesequake. So one day, Rubin called up James Gray because they were friends. It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm world out here, and put Manello on the phone. And he said, "Are you?" In the article, James Gray is clearly doing voices, as Thomas has asserted in this season.
Yeah, it's worth getting hard media just to hear.
And the guy was like, "You directed Little Odessa?" He said, "I didn't like it." So James Gray was immediately in love with this guy. But what ensued was a long, long friendship where Gray would constantly call him up. He would read scenes. He would have questions about movies. Like he would watch a movie at 2:00 in the morning and he'd say, "What the fuck is this movie from 1940?" And they had some obscure actor. So he'd call up this Manello guy and he would say, put the phone up to the TV. He put the phone up to the TV for like 10 seconds. And then he would tell you what the movie was,
like
tell you about the studio interference with the movie. The guy was astonishing. And he eventually became like a Forrest Gump, this Generation X level directors like J.J. Abrams, Brett Ratner, canceled, and some other guys. And when his mother died, he kind of went into a bit of a spiral. So they got together and they helped pay his rent. They got him an apartment in Brooklyn. He was able to get out more in the public. And when he started writing this film that we're covering, Two Lovers, Manello was actually an inspiration for it because he was at his house one day and he saw a picture of him from the 70s. And if you've seen the Beastie Boys videos I talked about, Manello's actually in them. He's like the big bald guy. He's the...
Wow.
So he looked a little different in the 70s and he was like, wow, this guy was pretty hot. And then he started thinking about where he is now, and character was the inciting element for the Joaquin Phoenix character in this film. And as they went along, he would constantly call up Manello and he would read scenes to them and he would say, "Does this sound like another movie that's been made?" And sometimes he would give notes. He eventually got a co-writing credit on this film and the next one. And part of that was Gray's way of getting him into the WGA, which would give him health benefits. He later emailed on the second part of this article that it made it sound like he was being too generous to him by giving him the credit. And he wanted to assure people that he was the co-writer of both films. And he wasn't just like throwing him a bone. And then the guy he always talked about making a movie. He had Vincent Gallo, after Buffalo 66, was going to make a movie that he had an idea for about called A Vow of Silence, where Gallo wouldn't talk for the entire movie. And Gallo was going to make it, and Manello wanted to direct it, but it just kind of petered out. And then when he died, they cleaned out his apartment in Brooklyn. It's like he never threw anything away. It was gross and dirty. And it's a really sad story about someone who, if he hadn't met Rick Rubin at that as a night watchman, he never would have gotten anywhere close to any of these directors and famous people who absolutely loved him and found him a fount of information like pre-internet.
Yeah.
So he co-writer of this one and inspiration, and then co-writer of next week's film as well.
It also sounds from the Gray interviews like a lot of these famos should have been paying consulting fees for Manello.
Well, I mean,
he was pretty important
paid
to
his
their
rent.
process.
They got together and paid his rent for years.
A couple of them did, but Abrams ain't sharing that Star Trek money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
So anyway, I watched all his music videos, and Andy was in the room. Was like,
"Why are you watching the Beastie Boys? I thought you hated them."
Wait.
I was very
This is
confused.
confusing. Was that Andy, or was that you doing an impersonation of Andy? You're James Gray level right now, man.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, it'd be like, why are you listening to the Beastie Boys? You hate them.
Ken. That's me. That's what I sound like.
Yeah. So these last two movies have a lot of great stuff going on for them behind the scenes.
So originally, this is the last little bit of background, I think, maybe before we get to some reactions from Andy that I have, is we've covered, I guess, and you mentioned this on the podcast, Tough Guys Don't Dance.
Mm-hmm.
We also covered Death Becomes Her, Wild at Heart, and I don't think we did Blue Velvet.
No.
But despite not being Jewish, has multiple times played a Jewish woman, and that's Isabella Rossellini, whom Gray did not have in mind for the role originally. He was going to cast from last week and next week Yelena Solovey, the Russian woman we've covered. She's the wife in We Own the Night, and she's the gypsy / psychic in Lost City of Z.
Yep.
But he wasn't convinced of her command of the English language, being a Russian actress. So even though he said, I may do something else with her, this is before next week's episode, I may do something else with her because in Russia, she's considered one of the greatest, like a Meryl Streep.
Wow.
And so instead, he cast Rossellini. She does a fine job in this.
She's great. She's always great.
She's the heart of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. For
I
sure.
think she's the only one I liked in the movie.
Oh, okay. Are we at reactions? Oh, I have to tell the anecdote about Gwyneth Paltrow's boob. Okay. She was like to James Gray. First of all, she claims that before this movie, she challenged James Gray to write like an interesting female character, and this is what he came up with. And then, I mean, he just took that to next week's film, I think. But anyway, she was like, I've had 2 kids with Johnny Coldplay, and I don't know how I don't know how they look. So she had him go to his her trailer and showed him, and he was like, yeah, that's fine. So it's such a weird anecdote. Paltrow sometimes,
she's weird.
This is like the tail end of her interesting phase.
It's wild because I think she's an amazing actress, and I
do too.
I wish she had made more movies instead of. I mean, she's absurdly wealthy now and drinks bone broth for every meal, so she seems happy. But I miss her on screen.
Yeah,
very much.
She's was an utterly fantastic actress. Still is. Marty Supreme. She's pretty good in that.
Oh yeah, she was in that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So to kick off reactions, here's another quick fact. People who like money and influence and private isles are Jerry Epstein files.
Oh, man.
So here's another quick fact before we get into reactions. People who like money and influence and private islands are Jeffrey Epstein files.
Nailed it.
So this is the first film. I'm assuming this is the first time you've seen this film, Andrew. I think we said that at the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you've seen a few of his other films, but this is the first film, spoiler, Lost City of Z is almost in this category where somebody doesn't die. Unless you want to count the fetus as in the miscarriage in this movie as a person, but I wouldn't personally. And so this is the first time that we don't have somebody die in one of Gray's films.
We have someone almost die a couple times because it starts with Joaquin trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he looks like he's going to try it again and walk into the ocean, but then he stops and doesn't.
It's also his first film, I think, that we've covered where he has Final Cut.
Oh, is that right?
This is a full James Gray film.
Interesting. And it must be said that this is his best regarded of all 8 of his films. Critically, anyway, in this country.
Yes.
They love him in France.
I guess also, if we look at it, like, Little Odessa feels like it's dated, but this would be his first contemporary film since Little Odessa, which is interesting to see. Like, he actually has cell phones in this film. And text messaging.
Yeah.
And hard media DVDs. And this is one of 2 maybe profitable films that he's made.
Oh, okay.
Right? Ad Astra was the other one. I can't remember if We Own the Night made money or not, but this movie actually on a according to the book, $9 million budget with a quick 30-day turnaround, made some money.
Good.
You could throw an asterisk next to Lost City of Z because that was an Amazon production or an Amazon release, and they did not release it very widely, and their main play is to build their streaming library. So
yeah. And they're one of the stars of the movie too, Amazon.
It was good branding.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, reactions.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna cue Andy up.
Okay.
So Gray said, with this film would be in love with everybody in it. There would be no distancing, and you would never be able to look down on any of the characters. Everyone would be given his or her own moment to be understood and loved.
Wow.
It seems like a very James Gray ethos.
Well, that's too bad because I hated everybody in this movie. Isabella Rossellini. Well, and Vinessa Shaw. She didn't do anything wrong.
Vinessa Shaw, innocent.
Yeah, totally. I'm Team Vinessa. Although, actually, I'm Team Vinessa. You can do better than this guy. But
I thought it was weird that she bought him gloves.
That was a little odd.
They were nice gloves.
They were
she's
nice.
Like, I want to take care of you, which
I know. I was like, no, girl, that's you do not want to take care of anybody.
At some point, I'm like, oh, is this a double manic pixie dream girl boy movie? A little bit like how Ken was saying, like it's a double title for two lovers, because the Joaquin character also needs to be is that for her?
For Gwyneth.
No.
Oh.
Gwyneth is that for the Joaquin character, but Vinessa Shaw's character, he is that for Vinessa Shaw's character, it seems.
Yeah, she wants to take care of him, and he wants to take care of Gwyneth.
Yeah. Right.
But from Shaw's perspective, the Leonard character, the Phoenix character, is kind of like this creative photographer, free spirit.
Yeah.
And for the Joaquin Phoenix character, the Gwyneth Paltrow character is that he wants to take care of and shelter.
Right.
And is also like this is a partier and is somebody who has life in them that they want to ride the ride the jet stream off or whatever, right? Okay, so if you had to say something nice about this movie, Andrew, what would you say?
It wasn't too long. It was a decent length. I mean, I don't know. It didn't do it for me, and I just hated everybody. Like when I wanted Joaquin and Gwyneth to throw themselves off that roof. Really, I was like, I don't care about any of y'all. Y'all are all terrible. You need to grow up and learn how to take care of yourselves. Like, move out of your parents' house. What are you doing? You're like 35 living at home with your parents. Like, I don't know. It was just disappointing too, because like in the beginning, there's obviously something happened. He was engaged and then it got broken off. And he tells Vinessa Shaw that it was because they both tested positive for Tay-Sachs disease, which is a disease specific to the Jewish population. But I thought that he was lying about that. I thought, we're going to hear the real story later. Like that just sounds like something he's saying to avoid, that maybe it was because he's bipolar and he went off the rails and like that, something crazy happened. But no, like they never really, that like apparently that was the story.
But he was also institutionalized. which might be
which
because
I
of
think
that.
was after, though. I think that was after
Yeah.
the marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, the engagement was broken off,
Yeah.
and he then he lost it and tried to kill himself.
Yeah, and that's why he lives with his parents again.
Mhm.
I mean, presumably before he tried to kill himself by cutting his wrists. He was out on his own.
Yeah. So I wanted more there. I wanted to, I'm like, okay, he's got issues. Like, let's see it. But it's, I mean, what they did show, I was like, okay, but he sucks. Like, I don't,
Yes.
I didn't feel sorry for him. I'm like, I do not feel sorry for you, and if I was supposed to, it didn't work on me. I don't know.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed that it didn't work for Andy, or it didn't work for you, Ryan?
Actually, if you could do this in an Andy accent, that'd be great.
Okay.
I'm not going to attempt a southern drawl on this podcast at this time, but yes, the movie didn't work for me. I found Joaquin Phoenix as unappealing and implausible as being a romantic interest, really, for either of these women. I didn't understand what they saw in him. And then I think a trend that seems to be emerging from Gray's filmography is these women are very thinly drawn and arguably poorly written. They don't really have a life outside of their relationships with Joaquin that's explored in any detail, and they seem to exist to be externalized symbols for his bipolar situation, with Gwyneth Paltrow being the manic side and Vinessa Shaw being the depressive side. And that, to me, seemed to be the main reason why they were the way they were.
That's interesting.
Isabella Rossellini, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but the one moment of humor I think that I've seen in Gray's filmography is after Joaquin returns from trying to jump off the bridge at the beginning. Isabella Rossellini's worried about him. He comes home and locks himself in his room, and she crawls onto the floor and tries to look below the door to see what the hell he's doing in there. And that was just hilarious.
Yeah, she was very cute.
Yeah, I don't know if a parent worried about their kid killing themselves is necessarily hilarious.
Well,
I guess.
I just thought the image of her sneaking,
yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if it was intended to be funny or not, but I thought it was funny when they called him a douchebag on the beach, and then he comes home and she's trying to look at him underneath the door, which I imagine is a very plausible thing that a parent might do, but in the moment was just very funny to me.
Yeah. And he was a douchebag.
And she also tries to follow him into the shower at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like,
That's
Mom. True. Yeah, she's this great doting mom character.
Mom.
I think her speech on the stairwell, where she's like basically like so this movie has internet, and Joaquin Phoenix's Leonard goes on the internet while his parents are in the other room. She's hanging up New Year's Eve decorations, and the dad's watching, is it Benny Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's booking a ticket online. Maybe he has I don't think they had tabs back then, so it might be and I don't know if he even has multiple windows, so you can switch back and forth between them so they can't see. But he's having to sneak his travel arrangements on it, which his mom the next day finds because he forgets to clear out his browser history. Let that be a lesson to all of you at home. And then so she knows, whenever he's sneaking out during the New Year's festivities, that he's going off to do something, presumably with the batshit crazy neighbor next door, Gwyneth Paltrow. And she just wishes him the best of luck, and there will be a place for him if things don't work out.
Yeah.
So just kind of this uncritical support by a parent that he's loved no matter what he does.
Yeah.
And her delivery of it, for me, was very touching, and it was very much a Gray moment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ken, did you like it?
I loved it. It's like a masterpiece, I thought. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because it gave me a sense that I did not really remember as a sense of people in my own life who were bipolar. And then there's this weird pit in your stomach about them when they're going through episodes of both hopefulness and helplessness at the same time. And for the entire movie, from the opening when he jumps into the water and then he goes home, and Isabella Rossellini really being emblematic of that feeling of both hopefulness and helpfulness, and also wanting to take care of them a little bit, was so strong with me throughout the entire runtime. Every decision he made, just that gnawing feeling that there's nothing you can do when they're going through this episode, but you kind of want to be there for them. And I thought, in its own subtle way, it was absolutely brilliant way of illustrating that without going too overboard on the episodes. And like Ryan said, the two women kind of representing both sides of his mania. Yeah, and I didn't know that was what I needed from a movie to kind of illustrate that in an internal way in myself. I was completely 100% on board. Everything in this movie. Isabella Rossellini, that last scene that we were just talking about, is like, that is exactly what it's like. It's like she knows what he's going to do. She knows it's the wrong thing. She knows it might end with him trying to kill himself again because she's seen it before. But what can she do but tell him that she loves him and she supports him, has a place for him when it all goes to shit. Yeah, I thought it was extremely powerful in its own quiet way.
Yeah, I guess likewise, I've seen people, like I had a memory watching this film of somebody talking on the phone, setting up plans to go out that night to the club, and while looking for the results on a pregnancy test, and drinking, I think, from fifth, like of Jack Daniels. So she's on the phone, drinking, pre-partying, and might be pregnant.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of life right there. Like that, it's always kind of struck me as an image of, and so I guess I've experienced a few things in life. I like this film a lot. I think it's one of Gray's best, and there are moments. I saw it as a parody. Sounds like maybe like Airplane versus like doing the airport quintology, whatever, the four movies of. So it's not really a parody in that sense, but I see it as taking a stab in the life at the making light of or having his own take on like a romantic comedy or a romance, because it doesn't seem very often where you're watching a movie and you're like, no, that's a terrible idea for people in a romantic setting. Like it's like almost Uncut Gems level of like, fuck no, don't go to San Francisco. You don't have any plan. You have this is a manic pixie dream boy leading a manic pixie dream girl to their destruction. Like this is a terrible idea for both of you. And the idea of Gray's, that there's just circumstances he can't fully get out of, which we'll talk a lot more next week with The Immigrant, seems to be set for these characters. Like it's not necessarily for him. It's like a series of choices, but those choices were limited to begin with, so that we're not. I do see him being successful in that we follow each of these characters without a significant amount of judgment. And it could be each of their movies potentially. And there's a moment when Joaquin Phoenix is Leonard's hiding behind a door. Gwyneth Paltrow's just had a miscarriage, which the movie was shot with that being a drug overdose, even though they wanted to have it be a miscarriage because the producers had just made The Life Before Her Eyes and it bombed. And so they didn't want to have any type of abortion or miscarriage. And so they shot it so that they could later edit in the dialogue, ADR, loop in, so that they could recut it later without the producers knowing to be the miscarriage. So, but there's that scene where Gwyneth Paltrow's recovering in the bed. Her Casey Jones comes and Leonard's there. So Leonard hides behind the door, and she and Casey Jones have this whole interaction while he's hiding there. Any moment could be seen. And then he leaves, and then they're like right back to being like, oh, this is a good idea, me comforting you. I'm going to draw on your arm so you can go to sleep and then almost kiss you in your sleep. And that's just, in my head, I'm like, this is a terrible idea for both of these people. Get the fuck out. And the movie at the end, some people see it as a happy ending and Gray does not.
Yeah.
I definitely do not see it as a happy ending. It is like,
it was sad
he is
to
like
me.
so desperate to do anything that like his parents might approve of, or he's just doing something he thinks that he's supposed to do, but there's zero feeling in it for him. And Shaw. Shaw is delightful in it. I mean, clearly from outside perspective, she's the one that you want him to end up with, but you don't want her to end up with him.
No, I'm
Is
like,
what the
get out
movie
of
ends
there.
up with.
For our protagonist, it's a good thing. But for the world, it's like a net negative.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And so about Gray adding to the schematic of Dostoevsky's original story, where it's like just the girl who he falls in love with, but she has someone she's in love with. That he has obviously the lovers with Gwyneth Paltrow has two, Joaquin Phoenix has two, but also Casey Jones has two. He has a wife and he has Gwyneth Paltrow. So you have all these series of moving triangles that he adds all of his James Gray stuff with, like the takeout, the family dinners, and all of that stuff. And I just love the way he builds out the story to have all these parallels between all these characters and their relationships. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely brilliant, brilliant structure to how he structured all these relationships.
And I think it's worth noting, as was called out in the beginning, that first of all, critics love Gray, and this is by far his most acclaimed movie. So while Andy and I feel strongly about it, we're sort of in the minority of people who've seen it who feel this way.
Oh, well, I don't care.
I just think with two of us poo-pooing it, it's worth calling out that,
Yeah. Well, that's just like their opinion, man.
Thomas, I find what you said and your appreciation of this film fascinating, because up until this point, when we've covered Gray's New York set films, you have felt that the combination of family melodrama and crime genre storytelling really didn't work for you. That mix has sat poorly with you, and you like this one. This one removes the crime element. And for me, I think that's actually the barrier that stops me from appreciating as much as you guys do. That missing genre element that kind of adds a overlying tension and engine for everything that's happening. That was absent. And for me, that was a missing piece. And for you, that was the final piece.
Yeah, I think having them drive in a single lane for me makes a lot of sense. And so this was a lot more effective for me, where I wasn't wanting him to adjust the levels so much. And I'm glad, and this is said by Ken, I thought it was very insightful, but the Elias Koteas, the Casey Jones character, we don't actually see his wife, which makes sense. Right. And is fine in the film, but is an interesting extra triangle that's going on and is definitely prevalent. One thing I didn't realize, just being as dumb as I am, and I guess the trajectory, the propulsion of the movie, is that Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't have a dad that she's living with in her apartment, right? She just has the dog.
Yeah, you hear him.
Oh, do you?
That first scene, yeah, you hear him, but you never see him. He just comes to visit.
Yeah, I think he was just visiting.
Oh, okay. I thought she was taking care of him as the intro, but and that it was Elias Koteas, the married man who's keeping her, who was yelling in the room. But that makes I guess both make sense. It's odd that we never see the father, or that he doesn't come back up again.
Because Gray loves his fathers, man.
Well, and even though when we first meet Gwyneth, her dad is yelling at her pretty loud enough that he can be heard throughout the apartment building, he has got to be going through some of the same things that Phoenix's character's parents are going through, because she is also,
she's a kept woman.
and she's doing drugs and she's partying and she's having affairs with married men, and she also has a tortured emotional life of one facet or another.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Vinessa Shaw's dad. Also plays a father figure, and he has that great scene when he has Joaquin down to his dry cleaning office and has that great interaction with him where he tells him he's not going to be, what does he call him? He asks if he's going to be
a fuck up. If he's a fuck up, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or are you a
like,
fuck
yes,
up?
he-
Yeah.
he
My daughter's
is a
crazy
fuck
about
up.
you. Are you a fuck up?
completely direct, no bullshit. And it's such a tense scene because we know what Joaquin's been up to with Gwyneth Paltrow. We know he's a fuck up. We've seen the scars. We've seen him jump in. Really tense scene. And I don't know how he kind of gets away with it.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I'd forgotten about it. Okay, so
Because this happened whenever you asked for Andy's hand in marriage, right?
my dad was like, "You're a fuck up, aren't you?" No. So
No,
okay, here are my notes.
He told me that she was a fuck up. He tried to warn me.
Whatever. Here are my notes before that scene. Ron is a piece of shit. That was his name. Ron was the older guy. I want to take care of you, big mistake. He's gonna fuck up, isn't he? Can they both just jump off the roof? And then what a fuck up. And then, are you a fuck up in quotation marks? Like, yes, he is. And he's been establishing that the entire movie.
And to Ken's point earlier about how Joaquin seems torn between wanting to live out his life and please his parents, that the moment when Joaquin is asked if he's a fuck up, he is already leaning towards Gwyneth, and he could have gotten out of the relationship entirely with Vinessa Shaw by just being brave at that point and saying, yeah, I am a fuck up. But instead he chooses the people-pleasing path and assures the dad that he's not a fuck up and that his intentions are good. And
no, I think because in that state, he doesn't see himself as a fuck up. He sees himself as somebody who deep down inside, that's what he doesn't want to be. And so everybody he's trying to please or whatnot, I mean, there's nothing he can do about it. His brain chemistry is just so fucked up that he's terrified of being a fuck up. And you're right, he will please anybody to not, but he cannot stop himself from being a fuck up. And I don't know if there's a self-awareness to the character that we might want at that point, because he's kind of a victim to what's going on in his brain.
I mean, this is right before he buys a ring.
No, he'd already bought it because he had it with him.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. Like before this, he had bought a ring. And so he's in that mood, right? Like he's like, oh, Gwyneth Paltrow's going to be my fiance.
Jesus Christ.
Stupid.
but like he's riding it, right? He's riding that high. I enjoy that he like kind of stalks her and then gets on the train car and then like rides the train to Manhattan, I think. And he has no reason to be there.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, I guess I'll go home now.
Yeah.
he's going, and how there seems to be a very genuineness to the awkwardness and to things that are going on. There's no lantern hung on him not taking his pills. Everybody feels, to me, watching this, realistic. And the terrible choices are just the slight heightening of that terribleness.
I really take Ken's reaction to this movie in mind, and I totally get it. As a bipolar person, I would have liked to see more interiority from all three of the main characters, but Joaquin in particular. I can totally see after hearing Ken's reaction how this is what things look like from the outside, or this is perhaps a very good distillation of what someone might feel having a person like Joaquin in their lives. But I thought they could have explored his bipolarity a little bit further.
You need some Charlie Kaufman voiceover.
There you go.
This is everything.
That goes to Gray's lack of monologuing, and I think sometimes a bit too delicate in his writing. I think for someone who came on as a director and kind of like started writing secondary, I think through these 8 films, the great thing about him is the care and delicacy he writes every single character. And that's sometimes to the detriment of the movie not having big enough moments. But in this one, I think it works perfect.
I really felt like this is too austere. It's too sparse this is the one case where I did want more character development. I think when you have the crime element or some other genre element, the fact that his characters are fairly thinly drawn in the sense that dialogue is sparse. And to your point, Ken, there's not a lot of monologues. To your point, Thomas, there's not a voiceover that kind of tells you what people are thinking and feeling as the events unfold. But that, in this instance, it just left me wanting more from everyone. I don't know how you would accomplish it. This is a great length at under 2 hours. And I think Gray always has keeping the movies concise in mind, but I just needed more to make these people more than symbolic figures running around Brooklyn. Although, Ken, what you said about Isabella Rossellini really being the heart, I think that provides a great context for everything. That we are observing these people and she only has limited insights into how her son thinks and feels and acts. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But
just her looks at him and her concern, and then that last scene on the stairwell. I think she's absolutely devastating every single scene she's in this movie by not saying a lot, but the way Rossellini's eyes just looking with concern. It's that he doesn't put a hat on it too much. And it makes that last scene where he comes back and after throwing the ring he bought for Gwyneth Paltrow's character, and then picking it up and giving it to Vinessa Shaw, one of the saddest endings imaginable.
But also, it's good for him, and at the same time, from what I was watching, I'm like, yeah, no, you need Vinessa Shaw to take care of you.
But he won't be happy with it.
It is. Yes, agree. I agree to all that. It's not necessarily a happy ending, and I don't think that Gray likes happy endings or wants to deviate too far from how he sees life.
Yeah, Joaquin does not know what to do, so he just chooses to do what his family wants him to do.
And I feel like that was my biggest concern one of my large disappointments in The Lost City of Z, is that there's supposed to be this explorer who is driven by something, and the mystery is like, what is he driven by to keep doing this over and over again, keep returning to the Amazon? And instead, it just felt like he was kind of pressured, or he was not quite reluctantly, but he wasn't active in his decisions.
Fascinating. I disagree on that point, but I think I can see kind of what you're saying. I do take heart.
There's a podcast that we recorded that we could go back and listen to.
You can go back and listen to it and see our disagreements there. So Andy has seen half of Gray's movies, right? You saw the first two, our first two we covered, Little Odessa and Armageddon Time?
I believe so.
And then these two.
Yeah.
Do you like any of them?
Little Odessa was pretty good. But yeah, after watching Armageddon Time or whatever, I was like, oh, this guy, his movies are bummers,
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not really for me. So, Ken asked me to watch these, and I was hoping that maybe he'd prove me wrong, but they're both bummers, and I don't know. I don't know. I guess I like a happy ending, or I don't know. I like walking away from a movie feeling better about things, and these movies definitely don't make me feel good.
There's definitely been Gray-pilled myself, and these are totally up my alley.
The thing that bothers me, Andy, and we'll talk more about this next week, but there's not enough light in these movies, in the sense that like even the saddest sack person has joy in their world occasionally, and humor and moments where they feel a little bit more carefree. And I think that's missing from a lot of Gray's work, is a sense
The
of
dad is watching Benny Hill, Ryan, and he says,
Yes.
I'm glad I got this DVD collection.
Yes.
He's happy with his physical media. That is joy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he's not a main character, though.
But Joaquin, I feel like, has joy in this film. And like, as sad as it is at some level, like both women have some amount of joy around him.
Yes.
It's just a matter of like, what's the trade-off? But 2 or 3 things about this film that, just from the filmmaking perspective, I think this is one of the few times I've ever seen justified the use of black and white stills montage.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
and it's
photograph.
done really, really well. So there's photos from the bar mitzvah that they've asked Joaquin's character to take for the new family that they're who's trying to buy to combine their resources, combine their dynasties in the dry cleaning area. And so, yeah, her younger brother is becoming a man, and they already have a photographer, they already have a videographer, but they're like, oh, we would like to do something artistic and have you come in and take some black and white photos, because that's apparently the one thing that's interesting about the Joaquin character to others around him. And so that, I thought that was extremely well done, to be able to have that montage of these photos that he would have taken, and to see the bar mitzvah through that.
And they're actually good photographs. For some reason, directors who are essentially photographers on some level, whenever they do that, they're not very good or consistent, but all the photographs seem of a piece from the same person. They're great character-based photographs, I thought.
And then, similar to like in Gummo, there's a piece of bacon taped to the linoleum while the kid's eating spaghetti and his mom's washing his hair. It's not to that extreme, but there's these touches in the film. So if you watch while I was watching The Party, I couldn't help but notice that there's an exercise bike in the corner of the room. While they're having people over, and it just felt very lived in.
Yeah.
The clutter, but not over clutter, of the room that presumably Joaquin moved back into after his stay in the psychiatric ward. Has a lot of those touches of like somebody who's about to go off to college or in college, living with their folks, versus however old he is in this film.
Yeah, he's a little past that age. Yeah, the lived-in quality of all of Gray's films is one of my favorite things about him.
And then for this film, there's amazing moments for me watching this for the era and capturing it, of people before smartphones, people being a little bit bored in settings. So like when Joaquin's waiting, like just waiting for people or waiting, and then just watching somebody wait is an interesting phenomena of whenever they're on the train. Or whenever he has the reservations, and he's waiting for Casey Jones to show up with, is it Pepper from the Iron Man movies?
Yeah.
He's waiting for them. And so it's just fun to like watch somebody wait and be awkward, which I don't think we would get in a movie that comes after this, because then you would just be on your phone.
Yeah.
And that's not interesting.
What is a Brandy Alexander, which they order at that incredibly awkward, fascinating dinner has with Casey Jones?
It's a cold, frozen type drink. It's like the milk punch that I make at Christmas sometimes.
Okay.
So it has brandy, but it has like vanilla ice cream or milk, and a little nutmeg maybe.
It's supposed to be a fun drink according to the movie. So
I mean,
and you could have it with a straw if you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I would drink it with a straw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so awkward when he asks if he wants a straw, and he
has like a Twizzler stick, right, or something that he's drinking out of. But
it's like this little tiny
completely
straw.
hopeless. Goodness gracious.
Uh,
So Andy won't be with us next week for our finale, The Immigrant, but she did watch it. Do you want to give us? Are we okay having Andy's reaction to The Immigrant if we stay away from it right now?
Sure.
yeah.
I mean, it was just depressing, and I'm like, I don't think I like Joaquin Phoenix. I think I'm just over him.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I just don't. But he's also playing these unlikable characters, so I'm like, well, maybe he's just a good actor, being a jerk. But I just wanted. I mean, I know that for the time, women were very dependent on men financially and otherwise. However, I still wanted to see the women save themselves. I did not want her to be relying on the good cousin or whatever. You know, I just wanted to see her like triumph on her own, which I guess ultimately she kind of does, but like, I don't know. I'm like, man, men are trash. Sorry. But all the men in these movies pretty much are just garbage. I don't know. It's depressing. So that's why I'm not a big fan of his movies, because they're depressing.
Something to look forward to next week is Ryan Thomas and I discuss that very movie.
And give our gray rankings.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rankings? Sure.
Ooh, sweaty.
Grayscale.
Ooh, yes.
Hey.
Yep. Grayscale.
All right. Well, here's one last bit of research I did. So people who like regular bicycles over e-bikes are pedophiles. People who like getting their nails done are mani-pedophiles. People who like to play with but boycott Hasbro products, so they make their own organic, non-toxic modeling compound from vegetables, are pedophiles. And people who like children are, of course, called parents.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for the theme song, Ryan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for joining, Andy.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Andy.
It was a pleasure. We'll have to have you on for a movie next
That
season.
Threads.
Oh, how about The Hot Rock? Robert Redford, young, sexy Robert Redford. Come on.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, fellas?
Cowabunga, dude.
I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you. I don't want to hear about you. I want to hear from you.
It's 10-4.
10-4, buddies. Destroy. Kill all hippies.
I don't hate it. I just don't know why you're straight from the formula.
You bastards! In case you don't know it, Bob, I'm an artist! And I must reflect that in my rhyme.
People who like money and influence and private isles are Jerry Epstein files.
Cheesequake.
Abrams ain't sharing that Star Trek money. You know what I mean?
Mom?